or things sometimes overlaid an image with a different sound. I think we already explained that, right?
Yeah. We try to keep it as honest as possible. What you see is what you hear.
Right. But sometimes, yeah, you'll be seeing Natalie, but there's actually Natalie drums, bass, and guitar. So you're not seeing drums, bass, and guitar. Right.
At the same time.
Yep. Okay, Natalie, what is the hardest part in the process for you?
I think the hardest part in the process is probably just motivating myself to sit down and edit the video, because I really like recording, and a lot of times the editing sort of gets in the way, and it sort of it's not as enjoyable of a creative process for me as actually making the music. So yeah, we might eventually hire someone to edit the videos just because
we're ridiculously rich and we have
so
lots of money to spare.
Money.
We're just so swimming in money.
Just the other day, I just took a lot of cash and I just threw it.
And then she fire hosed it. Just because we have so much. Look, if you want to make money,
it's been a good year.
You got just be an independent band.
Yeah.
If you're in it for the money.
If you're in it for the money, definitely go indie.
Just start making music, and before you know it, he'll be swimming.
Yep.
All right. Jack, do you ever retake segments? How does that work? Yes, I retake segments all the time. My favorite example of that is when we were recording a song called Expiration Date. And I'm no drummer. I mean, I can play drums, kinda, but like my time isn't amazing. I'm okay.
Good.
I've gotten better, but like I'm not gonna pretend like I'm, I can't do that stuff. So especially back then when we were recording the song, just like a year and a half ago, and my part was a super like Motown-y thing on the Wurlitzer, where it was just constant 16th notes, dunk 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 dunk. And I wanted it to be really even because that was the sound that I was going for, but I didn't want to use Beat Detective at the time. Sometimes I use Beat Detective now for things, but it has a tendency to suck out the groove, and I don't like that because I think groove is really important, and here I am rambling again. So at the time I was trying to record this, and I was basically, my job was to be the hi-hat part, except I was playing the hi-hat on keyboard. Dunk, 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 dunk. And it was so hard. I did this for 45 minutes. Take after take after take. 45 minutes of da-da-da-da-da. And it was only, I don't know.
And then the editor gets to come in and figure out which takes.
No, that was easy because I kept stopping it between takes.
Okay.
That sometimes happens when I'm recording like hi-hat and drums and stuff. But on this it wasn't. So it was dunk, 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 dunk. And I did, I don't know how many takes. 80, maybe 100 takes. I don't usually do that. I usually just try to, bang it out.
Usually he's a natural, but sometimes he just is.
It was very important to me, and maybe it was like a personal thing because I probably think the first take sounded fine, but I just really wanted to. I gotta have that hi-hat part, so I did it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I retake stuff all the time. I usually don't go more than 15, 20 takes unless it's bass because I'm not really that good at bass either, but I can play it.
Bass.
Well, I'm talking about sometimes for my own stuff, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Natalie plays the bass most of the time. Almost all the time. Her bass lines are amazing. You should listen to the bass in the songs.
Stop it.
Just listen to the bass. It's great. She's amazing.
He's too much.
Okay. Jack and Natalie, are you self-taught? What is your advice for artists who want to follow suit?
I'm mostly self-taught. I had piano lessons when I was younger, and then I taught myself the guitar, and then I had a couple bass lessons, but really I was so bad at sticking to theory because I just always wanted to write my own stuff. And Jack is kind of the opposite. He is not self-taught.
No, I started taking piano lessons when I was like 6. My dad taught me the blues scale, and I started playing blues and stuff when I was, pretty young. And then I switched to jazz lessons when I was like 12 or 13, and then I took jazz for a few years, and then I went to college and I majored in music and composition, and so I've taken a lot of theory and taken a lot of piano lessons. The other instruments I just kind of picked up on Craigslist and just kind of did stuff until it sounded good.
We're sort of like polar opposites in our training. and our styles, and in our
personalities.
Brains. Our brains are polar opposites.
And our genders.
And that's so true.
What is your advice for artists who want to follow suit?
Find someone who's your polar opposite and make it work.
But for reals,
don't do that.
Our philosophy is just kind of, or at least my philosophy, and I think kind of Natalie's philosophy too, is just make a bunch of stuff. Like, it's really easy to I'm going to make this one song and it's going to be amazing. But
it's not really easy to do that. You just
what?
It's really easy to get fixated on something.
On one song or one idea.
And think that
it's going to be perfect.
But the truth of the matter is, no matter what you make, you're going to look back and, a year from now, 2 years from now, and be like, wow, I've gotten a lot better, no matter what you do. So just put something out. Just make stuff.
And if you're like us, you have a ton of ideas, and you're always you're walking down the street, and you're like, da, 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 and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a cool idea. You know what? It's your responsibility to make that. You owe that to the world. And if you spend 5 hours or 200 hours working on this one song until it's perfect, that other song isn't going to get made, and all that potential is wasted. Mm-hmm. It's your responsibility as a musician to share that. If you have ideas and you want to do this, you have to share your ideas. You have to get your ideas out as quickly and as carefully, not as carefully, as quickly and as thoroughly as possible. Mm-hmm. You don't want to just fart on a piece of paper and release it, but spend 20 hours on a song. Spend 2 days on a song. 15 hours, however long it takes, and then it's done. Get it to 95% and ship it out. I mean, that last 5% sometimes can take years. And I've never felt like I've finished anything. I've only I once had an acting teacher who said that she'd never finished a creative project. She'd only abandoned them. And I feel like that's true. You're never going to finish anything. It's never going to be good enough. We've never released a Pomplamoose song and said, this song is great. It's totally done. We're done.
The best thing anyone's ever made.
We've never released it. We've never been satisfied with the song. We just put them out when we feel like they're, you know what, the idea has bloomed. And it's got to go out because we have 20 more ideas on the way, and we have to start working on those other ideas because it's our responsibility.
Yep.
And maybe people who really polished, glossy stuff are going to say, well, it sounds like they just pope out ideas and don't spend any time on them. But yeah, I guess that's true.
How do you pope something out exactly?
Well, I meant to say poop, and then I was going to switch to pop because I thought poop was too dirty, so it just came out as pope.
Pope.
The pope is a combination of poop and pop.
That's just a terrible thing
This is getting really long now. Jack and Natalie, anything you'd like to say in closing? Oh, good, we're closing.
Oh. Nope.
I think
maybe Jack wants to rant for another 12 minutes.
I mean, we have
How do you feel about the Beatles, Jack?
I could talk about music for the rest of my life, but then I wouldn't be able to make music.
And you will.
But you should make music, so go out and do it.